So, folks, we know that currently the halls of Columbia University, specifically Hamilton Hall, has been occupied by student protesters after Columbia suspended them for failing to disperse after the 2 p.m. deadline yesterday. At this recording, that would be obviously Monday, April 29th. This morning, see, this is why to do a noon show is tough, because you got to catch a lot of the morning stuff. This morning, Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL joined Morning Joe to liken this occupation to another occupation that's still fresh in the minds of the libs who watch Morning Joe. Let's see if you can guess what he compares this to.
Because the administration went remote, because the administration was so afraid of these people. I see these videos. I see these images of mass protesters breaking into buildings, barricading them with furniture, and look, I'm reminded of January the 6th.
Oh, my God.
January the 6th.
That's what this looks like to me.
And now the cycle is complete.
Yeah, right.
Things, barricading them with furniture, and look, I'm reminded of January the 6th. That's what this looks like to me. I mean, we talk at ADL about right-wing extremists, about masked Proud Boys showing up at school board meetings, about Oath Keepers wearing masks. I look at this, and this is what I see. And let's be clear about one thing. The students who are doing this, the groups behind it, SJP, Palestinian Youth Movement, their response to President Shafiq's offer last night was, Columbia will burn. I mean, these students, we shouldn't treat them like children when they're hardened activists.
Well, they're adults, and go ahead.
No,
So.
All right, Mika joins the party here. So for some reason, this is two different tweets. It was compiled this morning. So, but here's the rest of this.
And that's the place we've all been sitting in watching this, going, what the hell is going on? What are these universities doing? Why aren't they doing something? And I'll echo the horror that this does look like January 6th. What a terrible example for our students. At the same time, these are young adults, and the question is, why do you choose to learn about the complexities of other situations around the world? But this one, you want to set up an encampment. This one, you want to scare people. This one, you want to come to the edge of violence or even go to violence.
Sorry, I don't mean to do this to you folks, but the lies come at you faster than you can keep up. The protests are not violent. The NYPD, I have to say this over and over again. I hate to have to repeat it, but if they're going to repeat lies, we have to repeat the truth. The NYPD has not cited a single violent incident that any protester has taken place in. Not one. In New York City, across 3 campuses, New School, NYU, King's College. We should call it King's College. We shouldn't call it Columbia anymore. We should call it what it is. It should be back to King's College. We should dead name Columbia University now. We really should. Yeah.
So quick tour guide trivia for anyone who doesn't get that. Yeah. So Columbia originally was attached to Trinity Church, which was the base for the Church of England in the colonies. So Columbia was actually originally called the King's College, which it literally was. It was literally under the monarchy. After the Revolution, it was very dangerous to be associated with the monarchy. So they took this very patriotic name. Christopher Columbus had been a hero in North America even before the Revolution, was like a folk hero. So it became Columbia, and that's why, if you see what they occupied, it's Hamilton Hall. A lot of the residence halls have the names of founding fathers.
Right, exactly. All right, here we go.
Violence.
Not the
this
edge.
one,
They're
you
breaking
risk
into buildings.
Your future and your education for. See, I think these college students obviously are missing the part where they need to see what's going on across the country with these protests, that it's now in the realm of violence. It's in the realm of hatred, whether some are peaceful or not. They need to watch the news and look at all the different arguments and be adults, or start learning to be adults, and set up discussions and debates across college campuses or their colleges or universities.
Here it comes. Open your ears here.
Campuses or their colleges or universities are going to have no choice but to expel them and ruin their future, the impact they want to have on the community, society, and the world at some point. But let's then go to the hard part of this. What is the solution?
Do it. Expel them, please. I beg you. I want to see every college student from every university protest expelled from their college. I dare you to do it. I beg you to do it. Please expel them. Please expel them. And then let's see who enrolls in Ibram X. Kendi's Anti-Racism 101 lecture series in the fall. Let's see what's left of your bullshit universities if you expel all of these kids. Let's watch your credibility implode the way it should have decades ago by after you expel students for protesting a genocide. I beg you, show every single one of them the door, and I beg that none of them ever come back. I beg no one ever goes back to your piece of shit schools whose assets should be seized and they should be converted into affordable housing. That's what should happen to all of these colleges, and I dare you to light that fire by expelling all of these kids at every one of these campuses. I would love nothing more than to see that. Nothing more than to see that, because the credibility of these institutions is plummeting, and nothing would drive the nail deeper into that coffin than if you expelled these kids. And I hope you do it. And I hope the kids who are being suspended, I hope they never fucking come back. I hope they never come back. They shouldn't. This should be the beginning of the end for all these Ivy League schools, for all these private universities that ran their little scam where they ruined the economic prospects of 2 generations by charging these obscene tuition and room and board rates and creating this giant debt bubble for teaching shit they don't mean. They don't mean it. They teach you civil disobedience. They teach you the history of nonviolent protest. They teach you anti-racism. They teach you anti-colonialism. The minute you put those words into actions, what do? They call the police on you to bash your heads in, and they throw you out of the fucking school. So tell them to go fuck themselves. And if they want to expel these kids, go for it. I'm all for it. I am all for it. 100%. I hope they all do it.
Yeah, well, if you look at the formulation that Mika lays out there, it is the post-Powell memo way of dealing with student discontent and rerouting it. Briefly, for anyone who doesn't know, a former Supreme Court justice wrote a memo in the 70s that was basically a blueprint to the world we live in today, explaining how business should invest a lot more money in taking over media, in influencing the public conversation. And what they did on the university level was start symposiums and apprenticeships and internships at places like McKinsey and tell these idealistic youth, well, look, you got to come work at McKinsey so you can scale social justice, and we're going to teach you about microloans in Africa, and
right.
and you know, just basically take all that idealistic energy, which is often very sincere, and channel it into ways that would be no threat to the system. And part of this new gospel that they were preaching to these students was, yeah, no, we're not colonialists and we're not racists anymore. That was bad stuff in the past, and you are the virtuous ones who are going to stamp out the very last of this. And they had them chasing their tails with this nonsense fucking white fragility bullshit. And as we mentioned before, where are these people? Where are they, man? Where's Robin DiAngelo? Where's Robin DiAngelo?
Right. Yeah.
She cares so much about her fucking whiteness and white privilege. I haven't heard her say a fucking word about this. Where's Ibram X. Kendi? Where is he? Even lesser lights. Where are all these people who have infiltrated corporations with their fucking DEI nonsense, which is essentially just a way of running cover for the corporate owners that hire them? Where are they? Why don't you see some of these heads of DEI departments marching in solidarity, speaking up to the student? Head of DEI department at Paramount today made a statement. Not a fucking word when you have the real shit happening in real time, not 150 years ago, not 100 years ago, happening right now. Your country, the one you live in, the one you're a citizen of, is responsible for it. Not a fucking word from these people. And that's what's burning down the credibility of everything that Mika represents. And when you look at what she's describing the world that the Powell memo created that existed until October 7th. She wants them to go to ineffective symposiums where they're going to have very polite debates, where they're going to be interviewed on shows like Morning Joe, and they're going to pretend that we have an effective democracy where these conversations have meaningful impact on actual policy. And and then you can go and shame the public for January 6th. Oh, see, they're overthrowing our democracy. What do you mean we don't have a democracy? We have symposiums. We have student organizations that are free to speak their mind, as long as you don't actually accomplish anything, as long as you don't actually disrupt anything.
Yeah, and you can see what frauds and hacks these professors are. You can see how little they mean what they say. The proof that they don't mean what they say is not only that they're keeping their mouth shut, but that their students actually get it. Like their students actually absorbed what they told them and are putting it in practice, yet the people who told it to them are nowhere to be seen. Some of them, not all. In fairness, a lot of the faculty at King's College lined up and did a hand-by-hand blockade.
They did.
So some of them are cool.
Good on them.
Some of them are cool. But so many of them, like the ones we just mentioned, where is Ibrahim Kendi? Where is Mr. Anti-Racism through all this?
Where is he? Where is he? Not a fucking word. Not a word.
Please clap.